Welcome back everybody. This weekend I'm in the Black Mountains, which is the area just east of the central Brecon Beacons, and what I'm going to be doing is a winter wild camp out. So I'm out in the Black Mountains, as I've mentioned, and basically cutting through some forest at the moment, next to a river, and what I'm going to be doing is ascending quite a big feature and then camping out overnight. Some of you might be wondering, what the hell am I doing? It's December, should be doing my Christmas shopping. Well, you know, I've done all that a couple of months ago, stay prepared and all that. Plus, you know, it's just nice to get out when you get the opportunity, and again test your skills, your navigation, your fieldcraft in more of a challenging environment in the winter. It's obviously easy doing it in the summer when it's quite warm, but when it's cold, like it's meant to be down to about -5 tonight, then it's definitely going to be a little bit more challenging, especially on top of those hills. So looking forward to some great scenery, great views, and a nice little experience of being outside freezing me nuts off. Hello mate. Amazing to see animals like this in the wild horses, or a pony or whatever that is. Poor bugger looks a bit scruffy. Tough as old boots living out here all year, I tell you. Awesome. So gained a little bit of altitude now. There's a bit of a light dusting of snow on the ground. Temperature's dropped a little bit, and just had a few drops of snow there, a little bit, just little bits. So feeling kind of Christmassy. But yeah, working hard, treating myself as per standard, going up this quite steep part of the route. Nice. So I'm on the highest point now, the highest feature, and I've actually had to switch to my camera on my phone because my GoPro is so cold up here, it just keeps shutting off the camera. So that's that shows how cold it is. But that wind chill from the wind that you probably hear, it's really having an effect. But what an amazing view. So I'm not going to hang around up here. I'm going to get off this high feature, get in the lee of the hill, and find me somewhere to camp up where I'm not getting absolutely battered by the wind. So I'm down off that high feature now. I've got myself out of the wind to a degree at least. You can see I've got my warm kit on now. I've got my Keeler belay jacket on, and what I'm doing is I'm picking myself an overnight stop. So place to pitch the tent. Basically what I've done is I've, like I say, got myself out of the wind as much as I can, and I've got myself into like a little bowl in kind of the flattish area that I can. You can see it's a bit lumpy and bumpy, but I'll just trample that down a bit and get myself hunkered in for the night. So that's my camp set up for the night. It's just got dark. I've had my camera inside my jacket for a little while to make sure it actually functions, because it stopped working for a while there because it was so cold. But yeah, now I've got the tent set up. The wind's died down a little bit, plus I'm in the lee of the wind as well, so that's quite good. And it's actually considerably warmer in there because it's bitingly cold in the wind, and it's down to about -3 now. So I'm going to get snuggled in for the night, get some Scoff on, and I've got a book to read, and yeah, just get bunkered in basically and get nice and warm. So I've got my stuff ready for tonight's extravaganza. Got a ration pack meal there, which is a Indonesian style spicy rice with pork. Sounds posh. Yeah, they're not too bad. Some hot chocolate, and there's my water bottle, my mug, and my cooker there. So all ready for a nice posh meal out in the Ulu. Morning campers, so it's about 7:30 in the morning now. I actually had a really good night's sleep in here last night. I was actually toasty in this Corinthia Defence Force sleeping bag, and obviously the tent, because I had a tent rather than a basher, it's helped keep me insulated through the night. Now if you just have a look, you can probably see there that there's ice starting to form on the actual inside of the tent there, and just on the outside part of this inner part as well. So that's how cold it actually was last night. Just have a little look outside the front and see what we can see. Yeah, you can see that. See the edge of that there where the snow's built up a little bit. Yeah, you can see that you've got lots of snow out there again this morning and some kind of freezing fog. So yeah, looking forward to getting out of here and getting into that cold cold weather. Nice. So I've packed up all my kit for the morning now. Tent's all packed away. I've checked I've got everything, and last thing I'm going to do is just check the area that I camped in to make sure there's no rubbish laying around. So this is the area that I had my tent set up last night, and yeah, I've done a thorough search of that area, a good check, make sure I've not left any trace before I set off. And if we have a look around, see we've got some pretty dense mist in. The visibility is down to about probably 20 metres. Really good example here then of why it's important to be able to navigate using your map and your compass, not just relying on electronic devices, because guess what, electronic devices often fail in conditions like this. Talking of electronic devices, I'm actually filming using my phone camera at the minute now, because my GoPro's just totally jacked. So there's a good example of how electronic devices can fail. So time to get on the trail again and get back to my vehicle. So catch us in a bit. As I'm walking down the trail then, I noticed a track of an infamous bird leading the way. So if you have a look here, you can see the arrows of the Pathfinder Bird leading the way all up this trail. So this is the way to go, guys. So as I'm moving down this this little trail, I'd be really careful with my footing. So with my walking pole here, you just hear that the ground's absolutely rock solid, it's frozen, and underneath some of this is actually sheet ice too. So what I'm doing, more than stepping on the track, is I'm using the grass to the left or the right to get a bit more traction with my feet. So just to avoid that, you know, potential flipping fall and injury. Being on my own here, that wouldn't be a good thing, you know. Hear that marvellous sound? Yeah, so a little bit of a stream crossing coming up. Looking forward to that. Quite conveniently placed rock there, handy. Yeah, that's all right. So I'm back on the low level now. I'm back in the trees and getting towards the end of my walk. less than a kilometre to go now to the car park. Had quite a good night overnight there. Made doable through the preparation that I did. So making sure I had the right sort of warm kit with me, a decent sleeping bag. I was using a Corinthia Defence 4, not my summer bag, and a decent shelter. So not using a tarp, using a small tent, which helped sort of trap some of the heat and made sure I had a cosy night, because it was actually quite nice. Without those things, it would have been quite different. A couple of other things to think about was safety. So I wouldn't recommend doing this sort of thing for the first time, you know, winter wild camping on your own. Go out with someone that's a bit more experienced, you know, can give a bit of guidance and stuff, or at least go out with someone else, not just on your own. The other thing you can do is make sure your sort of loved one, your next of kin or whoever, knows where you're going. Give them a route of where you're going and stick to that route. So if something was to go wrong, you know, they've got an idea of where you are, so they can find you should something go wrong. Another thing you can have, I've got this Garmin in reach there on my kit. Aside from safety, it just gives a bit of sort of reassurance to your loved ones. You can send a preset message or even a text message via your phone, because where I've been, the whole time I've been out, I've had no phone signal whatsoever, which isn't a problem, but you know, think about those people still at home, flapping about you out there. It was -5 last night. My partner was pretty chuffed, I think, that I sent her a message last night saying that all is good, you know, I'm bunkered in and I'm doing well, as opposed to just not hearing from you for 48 hours. So that sort of thing can be quite nice. Yeah, and just make sure your navigation's up to scratch. Obviously you're going to be carrying more kit. You have a winter sleeping bag and a decent shelter, so make sure your hill fitness is up to scratch too. It's not just a case of going out, you know, for 500 metres. If you're going on the hills, it's going to be more of a trek. But yeah, anyway, check out the view here. Pretty awesome looking around. And I'll see you back at the car. So I'm back in my car now. Got my kit packed away, changed my footwear, all that good stuff. All your post-exercise admin, as they call it in the army. Yeah, just a couple of points on a couple of days out there then, the overnight stop. Preparation's key, okay? Make sure you prepare your kit, make sure it's all squared away, make sure you've got realistic amounts of warm clothing, make sure your sleeping bag is suitable for the temperatures, and also look at the weather forecasts that are, you know, predicted for the area you're going to. If it's going to be super windy, maybe put it off if it's really cold as well, because the wind's one of the most underestimated things out there. If it is windy and you're determined to go out, maybe look at putting yourself in the lee of a hill. You can plan on that. You can get the directions of the wind on different weather apps. Make sure you've got your safety things in place, as I mentioned earlier. Make sure you tell someone where you're going, give them the route of where you're going, and, you know, expected times if you get in there and getting back, that sort of thing. Also, don't go out and do this on your own for the first time. Make sure you're with someone else. The danger, you know, is increased so much more by doing this on your own. Having someone else with you in case you take a trip or a fall will, you know, help save your life. If you're on your own and you're knocked unconscious or you're badly injured with no phone signal, it could potentially end up in you being a statistic. Okay, so try and avoid that by doing it with someone else, going out, hopefully with someone more experienced than you too. So hopefully you'll enjoy what I've put out there today. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and stay prepared.